Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Lucid, and we are back with, I believe, turn 17. Hopefully I didn't miss one. No, I think this is right, because we're going into the lake. And last episode was pretty chill, not too much was happening. We're doing this kind of like weird turtle build that we don't really love doing. But I think it may be the best way to play this particular nation, so we're going to give it a shot. And these guys apparently do not like poison. And we give them a healthy dose of it. Double dose. Very ill omen, as things tend to be. And we found some heretics. So yeah, that was an event that happened here. We set these guys to patrol to get this out. Utgard has evacuated the area. These guys, I don't know where they were, but they didn't reinforce this province. He didn't attack Man. He and Man have a nap, as I kind of mentioned last episode, that Utgard has napped everyone. So we're kind of going to wander over here with our scouts, see if we can see what's happening in the Midgard War. Vediham has also advanced up to here in the Felegrin War, but hasn't gone farther. And over here, things look like Arco's winning. He's taken this from Marignan as well. So we're kind of watching this with bated breath here to see what happens. And Arco and I have been talking. We didn't get anything from him this turn. But yeah, so our god, we're site searching here. I want to go over here and take this throne with our god. And we can come over this way. I can't take it right now, though. Basically, here's the thing. I'm not going to blind throw my god into this. So we're going to make a scout here, and then next turn we'll ping it, and then we'll move our god here. If we like what we see when we ping it, we'll send our god in the next turn. Hostile Dominion, a little risky, but we can't see any of the neighboring provinces. No pain, no gain, though. We have Alt 4, though, so things like, Body Ethereal is going to be super helpful versus a lot of shit. So, anyway, we're going to be doing that. So, plan is build Scout here this turn, ping this throne next turn, move God here, and take this. Yeah, research priorities, we have hit Alt 4 like I mentioned. We're going up Thumb 3, and that's going to be very important for teleport. Yeah, once we have teleport, we're going to be making our way to Construction 2, and that's so we can do some basic gear forging on our own. Then we're going to be going to Alt 6, which is kind of like our core tech for Sauromancer thugs and for our god to wreck stuff. And for Darkness, and for Skeletal Legion, we've talked about that. And then Evocation 2, I forget what this was for. Why did I want Evocation 2? Oh, I think this is just like, hey, we'll probably run up to Banefire. Not sure about that. Let's go to 18. All right, it is turn 18. And yeah, we get Swordsman here from Marignan riding out into the forces of Arcocephale. These are some of the best troops Marignan has early. Like, you can go kind of weird thing with Marignan. You can do crossbows or swordsmen. They don't really mix very well together, but they're very killy. These are not necessarily the kind of things you want to run a Mother of Monsters into, that's for sure. Depends what buffs Arco has. If Arco has Body Ethereal, they might be able to tank it. But like the slashing damage when you don't have protection buffs, kind of a problem. And, the other thing, because the slashing damage kind of gets multiplied, right? Just how that works. But also because it's not piercing, you can't really use the death path to do skeletal body. So Arco probably has Mist Form, though, which is going to be its own problem. But they could probably get rid of that with like a smite or something. So... anyhow, Arco's moved into their cap circle. And it's at this time I'm kind of thinking, like, okay, Arco's probably going to win. I probably need to think about turning on Marignan, who I don't have a nap with. So it's actually the neighbor I'm most set up to attack. So we're going to be funneling some troops down here. Some of these guys are coming back up because, unfortunately for us, we got attacked by barbs in the province. I was building a scout to ping the throne. So we can't actually even move our god over here to take this. So this barb attack may have actually cost me the throne. Because, freeze misfortune scales and all. So I actually have to move my god to the cap, which is nice because we have capital recuperation on, so I might get rid of an affliction. But then I have to either attack this province with my god or attack this with the army and then ping this. It's a disaster. Like, the odds of me getting this throne now are way lower. So, the good news, the silver lining in all this, is we're upgrading to a citadel in this fort this turn. We are upgrading this to a fort and building a lab. We're still going to have to build a temple here, so it's going to be a hot second. But anyway, things are going along fine, I guess, except for the Indies. And we'll call that turn 18, and we'll see you on turn 19. All right, we're back on turn 19. And we found a gem deposit, and we got another Tomb King. So that's nice. Plus 75 gold. We certainly appreciate that. We also have made a prophet. We have named our prophet Lechery, and they're Holy 4 now. And the important thing about that is they can cast Power of the Reborn King, which gives 4 attack skill and combat speed to all my units, my undead units. So obviously with a Tomb Worm strategy, it's nice to have that, yes, we like bonus 4 attack skill. That's pretty nice. So yeah, it's kind of sick to have that. And then they're kind of slow too, so they don't mind the movement speed either. So anyway, that's what's happening over here. Our god is now home, and we're going to be hitting this with our army, and we're moving the scout in here as well, and then the scout will ping this the subsequent turn. So all in all, great shame. If the alternate reality where the barbs didn't attack, I would have already pinged this. This would be the turn that I have my god here, and I had pinged this throne this turn. Right? And the next turn would be the turn I would take it. Interestingly, Man's taken this province back from barbs with Tower Guard. So, anyway, that's basically what's happening. Arco moving the army out. I don't know if they're over here or where they are. But they've got another army over this way where they have managed to clean up this Marinese army. It's pretty interesting. So a bunch of swarm spam, which is pretty good against high damage greatswords, because that's kind of wasted. We have a bunch of moss body and luck, and then more swarm casting. So this is very well scripted from from Arco. And these hoplites are going to tear these swordsmen up. And if these hoplites were to fight these great swordsmen on their own, they would get deleted. But there's so much swarm spam coming out that these guys are all tied up while these hoplites basically crush a flank. So it's beautiful scripting. Marignon just brought way more to this fight. And we have a great use of Arco mages here, and they just tear these guys apart. So very cool. Hardly loses anything to kill. And these swordsmen are very good in melee. So, these are not bad units. So very cool. And this is when I'm like, okay, Marignon's losing the war. He's got Arco in his cap circle. Bogarus, from all intents and purposes, has pieced out with Arco. My scouting network over here is kind of poor, but he does have some troops here. But I think it's either this turn or next turn. I ask Bogarus, like, hey, what's going on over there? How's the war with Arco going? He's like, yeah, I pieced out. And I check with him, make sure it's cool. Basically, I'm going to attack Marignon. I've kind of committed. The time I see this, I'm like, okay, we're going on Marignon. So I think I might tell Arco that this turn. He certainly wants the help. And I've kind of been dragging my feet because, like a proper Marinese army, we're not really ready to fight until we hit Alt 6. But we could kind of go a bit before that. And sadly, these troops are dragging my Saruman. These Indies are dragging my troops all over the. Like, I would have liked to have had these guys down here to start a war with Marignon, but we got barbs to kill. So, yeah. Later, once we have Alt 6, it's going to be a lot easier to mop up these indie events with Sarumancers, because basically we have Boots of the Messenger we'll throw on them and some basic gear. and they soul vortex and invulnerability, and they'll just go mop these guys up. Especially if I might get a white mage too, just for that purpose, and just have him run around killing stuff. Anyway, we lose some pearls. Fuck. And I think that's it for this turn. Let's go to turn 20. We are almost caught up. It feels like I'm basically teleporting you to my current turn, because we've gone through these so quickly, but hardly anything's happened, because we've just had like a super non-aggressive turtley early game, which normally, especially with bad skills like this, means you're just going to lose the game. But we've got a plan. Doesn't mean our plan will work, but we're going to see it through. We lose 2 Tomb Guard here. And sadly, now we can teleport this turn, so potentially I could have teleported, but the monkey's already here. I don't know when they took it, but rip. We would have ruined this too with our god. Like, if we had a bump, we would have won badly. So, a little sad, because I covet this throne. I don't even know what it is, but I covet it. I want all the thrones, like even the misfortune, the death ones, like give it to me. I should ask Utgard. Utgard hasn't claimed this throne yet. I should ask him what it is. Maybe I pay them for it. If it's Throne of Death, I don't think it is. I wonder why they haven't claimed it. But yeah, this turn we attack Marignon because Arco's attacking here. He's got most all of Marignon's cap circle. And he sent me a screenshot. Actually, maybe it was last turn. He sent me a screenshot of his god magic phasing on to Marignon's army and killing it. And that was in addition to the 50 dudes we saw die to that really well-scripted Arco army. So Marignon's lost a ton of stuff. And we don't have a nap with them. So we send them a little message here saying, Arco convinced me you were on the road to dying, so I figure I should vulture before he gets everything. Sorry. Partially true. Mostly true. Arco has convinced me that he's going to beat Marignon. Arco, while on one hand he wouldn't want me to vulture, he is excited about this being a quick war, and he's expressed interest in potentially turning on Bogarus next. And that makes sense with me. This is going to be a very, very good scaling Bogarus build. And I don't really want to fight them by myself, but I do want to take some of their shit. Like, I need a cap, too. So if Arco gets this cap, maybe I get the Bogarus cap. I should, depending on the quantity of things I have, do very, very well in a Bogarus battle. At some level, like, he can skelly spam maybe as well as me. There's a few things. Bogarus is a very flexible nation, and it's very possible Bogarus could win that war. But it would require either very well managed skelly spam communions, or really big elemental dumps. And those are the two things that could kind of win, I think. But maybe there's more. Yeah, anyway. So where are we with research as we start this war? We're at Alt 4, but we'll have Alt 5 this turn. And that's important for opening up an invulnerability, because right now our protection kind of sucks. The other thing we're doing is there's an army here of just crossbowmen, and we're starting off this war by magic phasing our god Big Mama onto this Marinese stack. And hopefully we kill these crossbowmen. We have been site searching. We found this gem deposit. Yeah, we're site searching. Where's my other site searcher? Over here. So we're site searching these for Earth. So far, we've only found a gem deposit. No Earth income yet, which, well, just the one from this throne. But we haven't found any Earth sites. That's a little depressing. So we're attacking here. We're jumping on this. And that's basically, like, part of this is I actually want to have a good relationship with Arco. So I don't want, like, I want to do lifting myself, right? So, and I want the same thing he wants now, which is to put Marignon out of the game quickly and just have it behind us. I don't want to be in like a 10-turn war with them where one of my neighbors can stab me. So we're going to try to put them down as quickly as we can, which means winning it for me, winning it for Arco. And yeah, we're jumping on these guys to attacking down here, and sending some scouts around. So that's basically it for this turn, and we'll go ahead and go to our next turn, which is turn 21. All right, and we are back with turn 21. We cast Teleport, and we get our first PvP action as Big Mama Milkers. She's walking in. And there's crossbows here. They're going to be able to do damage to her for sure. But she's too tough. Right, and the pierce resistance, it's just not happening. This also is in Friendly Dominion too, which is kind of wild, because this is Marignon's cap circle that has my Dominion in it somehow. It's not like we have a high Dominion build either. Yeah, the Poison Aura is no joke. And then we attack here. Immediately rout the army. And some of the people we killed here, like some of these crossbowmen, were people who retreated from this combat. And then we have Marignon riding out, pinging this province. And we have a battle here with Aretha against a throne, which is kind of cool. So Aretha has a kind of interesting bless, too. I'll show you that in a second. It's Combat Farcaster and MR1, so it's a Astral 5 Bless, and that's for wish casting, which is something Aretha does exceptionally well since they have Pearl Farmers. So we've got a few nations in this game with very, very greedy builds. And I was kind of thinking that this may be, like my build, may be one of the best skilling builds in the game. Which is a very hot take. And possibly we'll get to test it, because Aretha is also one of the better scaling nations in the game if they have a wish farm setup. And these guys clearly do. And Bogarus is one of the best scaling nations in the game. If they make it there in good form, and they have a Wishcaster, helps with that too. So, you know, we'll be expecting Bogarus to put up Pyre and things like that. We can maybe split Pyre with them. And that's something we should probably be thinking about asking. Well, we're thinking about attacking them too, so we'll have to decide. But Fire Elementals are one of the things which I'm not really excited about throwing my shit into. Like, we don't really have fire resistance. They're not going to care about darkness or skeletal body. We can potentially tank that with Sarumancer thugs, but not well. Like, because they don't have to use fire elementals. They can have Soul Slay or air elementals. So in some ways it's kind of a bad matchup, but it's not going to get a ton better. It's kind of going to get worse. So I think I do, if I can, I think I do want to kill Bogarus with Arco. And hopefully we'll be set up in a position to do more of the heavy lifting. Oops. So that's basically that for this turn. Now, here's what we know. Arco lost one of their important armies that was down here raiding this turn. Marignon did a great interception, and I believe the army is right here. And it had intercepted and killed one of Arco's little raiding squads. I believe the raiding squad was actually the one that we saw march over this way. And it was putzing around down here and got caught. He's got an army here. Marignon patrolled their capital. Arco saw this, so Arco could probably go on top of the cap this turn. In some ways, this army's separated from the cap. So Arco's like, hey, I should go on it before these guys can consolidate. The risk of doing that, well, there's not actually a ton of risks, but he might lose stuff and then it'll take him longer to siege through. But there's basically really only one move for Marignon's army here to make, which is to come here. So I'm going to ping this. We'll see what's happening, what's here. And then, I actually didn't need to. I could just move them here because there's PD. I'd get to see it. But anyway, I decided to ping it for whatever reason. And then we move these guys over here, which is nice to go ahead and, you know, stake claim to this from Vettiheim. But also, where else are these guys going to go? We could move them here. But Marignon could potentially like consolidate all their forces out of their cap and here, and that would beat this army probably. Or certainly if they used mages. Not a likely move. But it's not a completely unreasonable move for them to make. And yeah, so I'm not going to do that. So we're going to go ahead and just take this. We can come back and backfill this later. I came to a border agreement with Arco, or like a basic spoils agreement, where I'm basically going to get these things. Right? Basically everything on this side of the capital, but also this one too. He's going to get the cap and this fort. So he gets these. Which makes sense. He's done most of the heavy lifting. We'll get minor spoils, and it's kind of an awkward shape for us, but it might be okay. Yeah, research, we're up at 300 a turn on turn 21, which is not amazing. Certainly not amazing, but it's not horror bad. It's picking up. We've got a citadel here, which is making 1.5 Sarumancers a turn. Or that's not true. We're not making 1.5. We're making 3/4 of a Sarumancer a turn. Here we're making some. We have 2 Earth randoms and we have 2 Death randoms. In some ways, Death randoms are the best because they can do Drain Life, which we're going to have pretty soon. They can do Darkness, they can do Skeletal Legion, they can do all of our big death stuff. But in combat, their Horde of Skeletons casting, it's so good. Drain Life casting, it's so good. They're not our best thugs, right? But they're by far and away the best casters. The only thing that gives them... There's Astral can do Power of the Spheres and kind of get up there, but that costs a lot of fatigue. Earth can do Power of the Sphere... summon Earth Power and have a little bit of reinvigoration. But if you're casting Drain Life, you don't really worry about fatigue that much. So, anyway, very happy to have them. And the other nice thing you can do with them is twice born these ones and see if you can roll a Death 5, which is fun. Because Death 5 mages are very rare and powerful. Yeah. So, our god, who magic faced here, is going to reset in this fort, and then the next turn we will fly out. And the next turn is my current turn. So the plan is Marignon's going to move their army here this turn, and the next turn we're going to have a... Do we get it this turn? I can't remember. No. This turn coming in the mail is all... Well, we're making a Burning Pearl. We already have this helmet, and I believe we're making a Hunter's Dagger, which is just an armor-piercing attack that gives 1 defense. I mean, in some ways, this would be better. The Thorn Spear, you get a little bit more defense, which is mostly what matters. But who knows? Maybe there's something weird we run into, and it's nice to have an armor-piercing attack. Who knows these things? But anyway, we're making that. The spear also potentially could give repel, but whatever. Yeah, so that's basically it for this turn. We'll see you next time. And the goal next turn is to set up our god in magic phase on whatever army moves here. And hopefully we have Marignon being put out of the game reasonably soon, and we can get... I really need to rush down and get this fort. That's kind of the objective. Can we get this fort? So we'll see you next turn on my live turn. Take care.